Okay, I think we are live, yes. This is the January 20th, 2026 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. I'm Bob Lear, the Vice Chair, acting in charge of the room today. I believe Mr. Messina, the Chair, is going to be joining us virtually, but first, this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or phone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, including the use of AI note-taking apps, please notify the chairman. And I have no idea how you would notify me of that, but that's good luck. Pursuant to Governor's Healy, March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that people who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 898-988-998, hashtag, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV XVD 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. All right, first order of business is a roll call. Mr. Messina, are you online with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. The chair is here. Ms. Barr, clerk.
Here.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes.
Mr.
Here.
Stevens.
Yes.
Ms. Dennison.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes, here.
And Ms. Porter is here, but she's an alternate, so she will be participating, but to the extent necessary, not voting.
Here.
All right. First order of business on the agenda is the minutes from January 6th. Any comments or proposed changes?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from January 6th, 2026.
Second.
All right. Roll call again on the minutes. Mr. Messina on the minutes.
Yes. Yes.
I vote chair votes, or vice chair votes yes. Ms. Barr?
I abstain. I wasn't here.
Correct. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Tennyson?
Here.
Mr.
I mean,
Wilson?
yes.
Yes.
And Sandy, you were not present, I believe, right? Okay, so Ms. Porter abstains. All right, on to business. Mr. Litchfield. The only hearing scheduled for today is application number 26001 to be heard in accordance with Chapter 158, which is the demolition delayed bylaw of the town, pursuant to a notice to partially demolish a building at 528 Training Field Road, represented by William Litchfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Bill Litchfield, excuse me, here on behalf of David Miller and Ashley Baker, who, through a trust, owned the property historically known as the Kimball Ryder House out at 528 Training Field Road. Those of you who were at the site visit, or for that matter, have just driven by the property know, and I think appreciate, at least I do, the fact that David and Ashley have been remarkably good stewards of this property, and they are now seeking to connect the existing garage to a portion of the house which apparently was built in the 1980s or 1990s, as shown there. So there is some loss of materials, but not historic materials, in order to build that connecting piece. The front of the house, the old portion, built, well, the Form B says circa 1820, but I tend to think it's older than that. The front of the house, traditional cape, is not going to change the older portion, but we are seeking to connect the modern garage to the modern portion that was built on. So what has been highlighted there in yellow is the approximate area where there will be a connecting piece, and that's essentially it. Obviously, the notion of having a Cape house expanded over the years is shown by this house as it now exists, and the notion of connecting it to the garage is also sort of historically appropriate. And also in weather like this, I think we all understand why they'd like to do it. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Mr. Litchfield, I didn't notice on the summary sheet that we had, but this house has been before the Historical Commission before, am I correct?
It may well have been, I wasn't involved.
Well, Ms. Bassett's records show there was 1919, we had a, 2019, yeah, it's not that old. 2019, we had a session regarding, and I cannot remember precisely what it was, but I think it was a small change to the main old house that you're referring to. And I was just trying to make sure that we're not having a cumulative effect through various changes such that we might gain jurisdiction, even though it was found to be historically significant the last time around.
Well, clearly it is historically significant, but that portion to which, or for which we're proposing work is more modern.
Right, and there's also, just to complete, the plans show a proposed garage addition. That is not part of what you're doing?
Not going forward.
Okay. With that bit of background, any questions from the commissioners? Robert Wilson.
I drove by and missed a 4-minute meeting, but I judge this addition to be a relatively minor change to the appearance of the building and not too visible from the street. And I think it would not be, make a big impact on the appearance of the property.
Mr. Stevens?
No objection.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes, I drove by that house every day and admired it, and I have no objection.
No, I attended the site visit, and I think that it's not going to alter its historical significance. I think I have no objection.
I concur. It's a beautiful historic property. It's being well maintained and cared for, and this work will not impose any significance to the historical significance.
Ms. Porter, any comment?
They've been wonderful stewards of this property. It's a gorgeous home. I have no objection at all.
Well, and the chair agrees. I happen to know Mr. Miller, and I know that he runs a commercial cleaning operation. Therefore, he is a very meticulous person, so, and a delightful human being, too, I will add. But anyway, any motions on this?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move first that we reaffirm the historical significance of the property, which was initially decided in 2019, I believe, by this commission. And I further move that the Historical Commission finds that the building is, that the proposed work to be done will not materially diminish the historical significance of the building, and therefore we do not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Any other comment? Anybody in the public wish to comment? Anybody online? Yes, sir. You have to go up to the microphone.
Good morning. Phil Poinelli, 550 Training Field Road, immediate abutter to the east, as you look at the house to the left. And I just want to, and I've been there for 34 years as a weekend person. And I'm an architect. So just a couple of clarifications. They must have been here in the last 10 years because the bath closet adjacent to the master bedroom has been put on by the Millers. So I assume that they were before the commission then, and that was within the last 10 years. So, or since they've owned the property. So we should
Yes, in 2019, they were before the commission. I don't know exactly what
Okay.
for, but yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that because the comment was 1919.
Yeah, 2019, yes.
2019.
Yes.
Okay. And the sitting room is not to my knowledge, is not a new addition. And it would take some research into the building department to define when that was, but when we moved in 91, that was there. And I had been in that building, and it wasn't new. In 91, it wasn't anywhere close to being new. So I think that portion predates. So they're not adding new to old. They're adding new to, they're not adding new to new, they're adding new to old, I believe, just as a clarification. I think I agree with the commission on the historic significance and the no impact on the historical significance. This really is consistent with New England tradition of big house, little house, back house, barn, and this makes the final connection to it. So that said, I just wanted to do some clarifications. I have no objection as an abutter, no objections to the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I would love to hear
Go-
Bill respond to that regarding where the addition, we had a 1989 addition added according to our records, and that's what I thought was being added on to.
Yeah, my understanding is that the portion to which we're going to be connecting, or the structure that will be connecting the garage to the rear of the house, is shown there, the yellow highlighting, is itself not old, historic, as indicated by the poured concrete foundation below it. But
saw that.
even if it is not, new is hard to define, even if it is not historic, I'm not aware of any historic materials which will be lost or damaged by the connecting piece.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Another chance for the public, if you'd like. All right, we're going to do a roll call. Mr. Messina?
Yes, I concur, historically significant, and no objection to the modifications as proposed.
All right, the vice chair also votes yes. Ms. Barr?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Tennyson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, we are unanimous, and Mr. Litchfield, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is now lost it. Chair has misplaced his agenda. That's the hearing for today. We have two new business items listed on the agenda. One's a discussion of preservation restriction process. I don't have anything to add to that. Mr. Messina, got anything?
Yes, hi, everybody. Good to see you folks. Hope to be back in a few weeks, maybe longer. I got a new friend here. Keeps me busy, especially when you're right-handed and you got a right-handed sling on all day long. But Bob, thank you very much for continuing to hold the fort down. Just quickly, I think Christina could probably add some information since we brought this subject up at the last meeting. There'd been some conversations between Selectman Nicastro and Katie Donovan. And Christina, why don't you add some information of where we are and how we're proceeding on this at this present time?
Sure. Yep. So Dean had reached out to Katie and I, and we've started the research process on this. Something came through on the listserv, so we're going to kind of piggyback on that. And so the process has started, and we're going to move forward with reaching out on the listserv and then go from there.
Thank you, Christina. The only thing I just want to add, we have a number of new members on the commission. The concept of the Mass Historic Commission listserv, I'm not sure how many members of the commission have actively signed up and participated in that. I know we get hundreds of emails that we don't like to necessarily go through, but if you're, it's a really a great way to keep up to speed about what's happening, not only within historic preservation, but at Mass Historic and with all the other historic commissions and historic districts in the state of Massachusetts. You know, it's very informative to find out that, you know, we're not the only ones having the same issues and how other towns and commissions address it. So if you're not a member, Christina can show you very quickly how to sign up for that, just that comment. If I may, Bob, under new business, we continue to show the ratification approval of administrative rules and regulations, but I guess we probably should drop that. If I recall, at the previous meetings, we agreed we were not going to address that any further, that we were confident in the way we were proceeding.
That's my recollection, yes.
Okay, Christina. I have a couple of old business items if there are no other new business.
I'm curious whether Ms. Briggs has something to say about preservation restrictions.
Hi, Ellen Briggs, Protect Our Past, and we began this conversation with Frank, actually, we being Frank Ecker, Fred Ecker and myself, because we are deeply concerned about the issues of losing historic houses. And so we started asking Frank how to dig into this, and we engaged Bob as well, had a few more conversations. We would like to be part of the conversation that you all have with Dean or any other members of the Select Board. We are meeting with the head of Preservation Mass on Friday to discuss it. We need to find entities in which to hold these restriction easements. Preservation easements are just for 30 years, I believe. But preservation restrictions are forever. And this, I know of a few people already who would like to put their properties under such a restriction. So we are part of this, and we're happy to be helpful in the conversations to find solutions. We're really pleased to know that Dean Nicastro and others have said, you know, this is something we really do need to look into. But I think it's going to be a core solution to saving some of these amazing historic houses. So thank you for being interested and involved. Yes, you have a question?
Stephanie, go ahead.
Yes, I'm just wondering, if someone puts their home under this and they sell 5 years later, the house is still under that?
Yes, preservation restrictions means it can never be demolished. It has to be, well, I don't know how about the maintenance and the level of maintenance. So there are some issues with that. From an owner's point of view, maybe it will be devalued because it has a restriction. Others will argue the opposite. So we're digging into this. It is probably the only way that we know of, Frank included, that a house can be saved forever.
Thank you.
So there are positives. And the reason why this is done in other areas, and they are asked, the owner would be asked to put a sum of money into an account, which will be held by whoever is holding the easement, in order to have funds to support a legal battle that may come up. So that is why it's done. It's done lots of places around this country. We need to get it on the Cape especially this year, 250th year. We are, just an FYI, Protect Our Past are featuring the 250-year-old plus houses on the Cape for each town. Each month we're focusing on a different town. And the more you look, the more you see, and it's just amazing what we have in this little peninsula. So we must really get behind and see if we can save them. So, yes. Good
Thank you,
morning.
Ellen.
Are you thinking that an organization outside the town, like Protect Our Past, might be should be under consideration for being a holder of the restrictions?
Oh, wouldn't we love to? We're so young. We really
Yes.
don't have the capacity.
I wasn't
Maybe
sure if
one
that's why
day-
you wanted to be
Oh, we
kept.
have definitely talked about it, and that's ideal. But realistically, we don't have we're not prepared to be able to handle something of that magnitude right now.
Okay,
Maybe in a few years.
okay, thanks.
And I think Ellen has, again, pointed out that one of the main issues is not getting somebody to do it, but getting somebody to monitor it permanently, which requires some resources, and both in terms of people and perhaps money if somebody needs to make some
Yeah.
changes in order to retain the historical significance. So it's more than just signing a sheet of paper and filing it with the state and having it
Right.
done. It needs to be followed up.
And you have experience with the conservation easements and restrictions, knowing that someone needs to keep tabs, just like you have to do on properties, you have to keep tabs
Well,
on the
but the
houses.
town has some conservation restrictions that they hold or monitor, some of the town lands, and a similar number or similar size and acreage is held by the Conservation Foundation, and that is they have over 200 properties that are involved, so it should be a full-time operation. It
That's why I was
unfortunately has
asking.
not yet been a full-time operation, but they're catching up rapidly. But it's a lot of work once you get started, and if it works well, it just creates more work, so.
And we need to take our time to do it right, to make sure it's manageable. You have how many properties in conservation properties?
220, I think.
I don't know, do we have 220 houses in Chatham? I don't know, I doubt that we have that many, so I think
No, I
your
don't,
work
I'm
is
not,
more of ours.
it'll
but-
start slowly.
I think,
But it still requires some management, and we have to figure that out. So we're here to work with you to figure that out, because a lot of people want to have it done. It's just, how do you do it? What's the best way to put it together?
Yep.
Frank, I think I can tell
Been
he has
waving,
something to
yes.
say. Go ahead, Frank.
well, thank you very much. I don't want to get ahead of us on this thing here, guys. Let's be careful. The one preservation restriction that we've been involved in as an historical commission with the YWCA took a long time, cost a lot of money. But in that case, we had a devoted organization with resources, and as well as the town of Chatham at the time, who was trying to help protect the significant asset in the old village. So, yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It's the ultimate protection, but it's extremely complicated. It can be extremely expensive. And I don't want to give people the false impression that this is a simple way to try to preserve an historic property. So we're proceeding slowly, Ellen. Slowly in the sense that the Historical Commission certainly would be responsive if an individual wants to make the investment. And from the Historical Commission point of view, do we want to ask the town of Chatham to allocate resources to be the holder of this kind of a restriction? And I think as Bob indicated, there are many things that you might have to do even before you proceed. So there's a lot of information that's got to happen before we proceed, and we're taking the first steps. So thank you very much, Ellen. I appreciate it.
Just know that we're going to be addressing every town on the Cape with the same thing, so we're really starting here. So, yeah,
Well,
it's
good
going to
luck.
be a step-by-step process, so thank you.
Okay, Robert.
Ellen, is there a town on the Cape similar or nearby that has these kinds of regulations where the mousetrap's already been built?
No, not in the Cape, which is why we're talking to Preservation Mass and other people to find out what they know. And we just have to take the time to get all the pieces out in front of us, put this puzzle together. But I think we're all determined to try and make this work. So, any other questions?
Ellen, I appreciate the exuberance to attempt to do this, but, there are many, many ways to try to make historic preservation, a significant part of the culture of Chatham and of the Cape. And I think we've got to be careful here on how we sell this, to as a simple solution to the community to try and save historic homes. That's why I'm cautious. And if I sound cautious, I am cautious because I don't want to oversell this concept to the selectmen or to the community. When there's one that's appropriate, I think we could proceed, but it's not a be end all for every situation. Bob, I have a couple of other old business items I'd like to address.
I was about to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Thank you. I thought we were going to break a record for a half-hour meeting, but I guess not. Just very simply, the Old Business Nickerson Family Association, the submission of the application to Mass Historic, well, that's proceeding very well. Actually, was in contact with Robert Nickerson, the former president of the Nickerson Family Association, who is providing the financial resources for PAL, Holly Herbster, to proceed. They are proceeding. They are in the form of writing. So it's just something that's happening ever so slowly, but still is happening and moving forward, which is a significant resource for us and as well for the town of Chatham. I guess the next item there, and if nobody's have any questions on the Nickerson homestead, was again, Christina, I think we dispense with the meeting protocol issue, and we should probably eliminate that from the agenda.
I can do that.
Okay.
That's fine with me. I will note that in our current rules and regulations, which were last modified in 2021, the last section Roman numeral 9, is hearing procedures, and that pretty much sets out, if nothing else,
Right.
it's the way zoning operates and most of the other boards and commissions do. So I don't see any necessary change to that.
I agree. Thank you very much.
We just need to do it, that's all.
Well, it's always easy to say it, talk about it, but doing is another story. Okay, I guess under Chairman's report, Bob?
You're down to the boathouse.
Yeah, I asked Christina to include on your packet this morning a copy of a piece of correspondence between myself and Greg Berman, the director of Dr. Duncanson's replacement, and what's going on with the boathouse. And I want to thank the commission. He came before us a while back, with the boathouse and some things, and we had suggested some alternate funding situations that he could potentially pursue, and he did. And they were lucky enough to get some additional funding. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I got my fingers crossed here, is that everything seems to be in place in terms of the funding. As you are aware, the boathouse made the beginning of its journey home, through from Quincy to New Bedford, where they're going to be taking out the floor. If you've ever been in the boathouse, the floor of the boathouse is tilted because it was a railway in which they could bring up boats from the water and the railway into the boathouse to store the boats, and that has to be flattened out and structurally supported with steel, because the next step after that's done, that work is being done with our good friend Dave Doherty, heading up that effort. And when that is completed, hopefully in another month or so, and everything else is completed at the 90 Bridge Street site, they'll be bringing it back. I was actually hoping it wouldn't be coming back until May, when my boat's in the water, and we could sail along with it, but I'm afraid March, April, it's a little too early, a little too cold to put the boat in the water. But it should be really, hopefully, an interesting situation to bring it back to Chatham and in place for the last step into converting it into an upweller. The purpose of my conversation, very simply, is for those of you who are on the commission, when we were involved in updating the Form B for this property, when we were first trying to save it about 10 years ago, maybe longer, we at that point talked about submitting a DOE, determination of eligibility, of the boathouse as a National Register property. In consultation with the town, we thought we had a better chance of making that happen when the boathouse actually returned to Chatham. And we held off. And I guess I'd like to just informally get a consensus from the commission members that what I'd like to ask Christina to do is to reach out to Katie Donovan. I've already reached out to Eric Dre to get an estimate for him to update the Form B one more time, and then prepare letters and necessary documentation so we could submit to Mass Historic a determination of eligibility of the boathouse as a National Register property. The boathouse, the other two boathouses on the Cape, the one in Memencher and the one on Nantucket, I believe, are already on the National Register. So it would be a nice trifecta having all three of those historic boathouses listed. So unless anybody has any objection to that, I'm going to ask, we're not taking a formal vote, but I'm going to ask Christina to proceed with Katie, and I'll have informal conversations with Eric Dre if anybody has any other questions on that subject. Thank you, Bob.
Any questions up here? No, I think we need to get started, Frank. You're right. If you wait until it comes back, it's just going to take that much longer. So get the path ready anyway. All right. Any other comments on the agenda, folks? I don't see anything. Any motions for the rest of us?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, another roll call. Last roll call. Frank, adjourn.
Yes. Nice to see you guys.
Vice Chair votes to adjourn. Ms. Barr,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Ms. Tennyson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
And Ms. Porter can object or not. Thank you all. Nice,
Almost
efficient
broke a
meeting.
record, Bob.